If you've been taught or if you thought that science contradicted scripture, and wrong.
To my rejected, deep thinkers, unfulfilled by religion and tradition, welcome to Return to Eden Journey, where we partner with God to bring heaven to earth through the core principle that everything has a natural representation and a spiritual connotation. The world is yours. Now let's nerd out on scripture.
And to still love God and to serve Him. It's not a contradiction.
Everything biblical, everything that God will have us experience is both spiritual and natural. It's not either or. And when we read the scripture through that lens, it becomes more alive, more dynamic in our lives. Everything is natural and spiritual. It's not either or, it's both. If you've been taught or if you thought that science contradicted scripture, and wrong. Romans 1:20 says, "For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that we are without excuse." The core principle of Return to Eden Journey is everything has a natural representation and a spiritual connotation. So God didn't design the natural world randomly. Now, let's be real. God could have, with a snap of a finger, just made creation just like that. You can do it all by yourself. Instead, we kind of have this stepwise sequence in Genesis that kind of unfolds and has structure and has order. So God went through a process to teach us order. So God uses what we can see to reveal what we can't see. The Old Testament is a shadow. Imagine you're in the alley and I don't know, you're heading towards a corner and you see the shadow of a person. You don't see them. Maybe they're behind a building, but you see their shadow being casted by the sun. So you can tell by the silhouette of the shadow that there's a man maybe hiding around this corner. And then once their body is revealed, then that revelation is complete that that shadow that was casted is indeed a man. By the time your eyes saw them in person, you closed that loop of curiosity and you know, okay, and it was a man, I was right. So now we know when we see a shadow, that shadow is usually in the form or shape or what it belongs to, right? So the Old Testament, we had a lot of practicality, a lot of things that we were doing in the Old Testament, like going to the temple, but the physical temple was just a shadow of what the real spiritual temple will be, Jesus' body. So the Old Testament we refer to as a shadow because it gave us a clue. It gave us some type of symbolism of something to come later. Everything in scripture kind of follow these patterns. We have natural, we have shadows, we have things pointing to spiritual truth. We just have to naturally discern and spiritually discern as well. So when we read the Bible, it's not meant to be just read, right? It's not a novel, even though we like to treat Genesis and all the historic literature as if it's a novel, because it gets pretty juicy. But it's meant to be understood. It's meant to be experienced. If we say the scripture is living, right? Life is meant to be experienced. It's meant to be lived out. The scripture being living is the same way. God is not giving us information for us just to meditate in the closet and nothing changes in our lives. It is profitable to produce everything and give us everything he promised us in his scripture and his word. All right. God never intended scripture to be reduced to rules, structure, discipline, and all that without relationship. Before we knew God's character, we knew he was creative. And before we called him God, G-O-D, we called him Yahweh. He was a God of relationship, a God of covenant, meaning he can back his promises. Now, what Return to Eden Journey exists to do? This is about restoration. This is about intimacy with God through Jesus. So this channel, we explore scripture and science. They go hand in hand. Okay, so if you're one of those rejected deep thinkers, you haven't fit in a box, but you love God, you have a heart for God, you might be a little nerdy with the science and you can kind of, resonate with me here, then I think that we're going to have a lot of fun exploring scripture. So remember, everything has a natural representation and a spiritual connotation. Thank you so much for sticking with me till the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. And remember, first peace in, then peace out.